What's up, you guys? I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a very nice day. Long time no see on this channel, but I hope to remedy that very, very soon. Um, on this video, we're going to be talking about this little guy. If you haven't seen this video, I think this is the last video that I made and uploaded to this channel. My other channels are very active, the bonsai channel and also my art channel. The link will be down in the description box. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to upload more videos to this. So if you haven't seen this video, it's a short video that we created. I think it was last year or beginning of this year, and we created this little guy up in the mountains. But we got a couple of problems now. This one, for example, has this lid, this cover, and you can see that the glass here it's thicker than the actual body of the container. So what that does is it doesn't allow light to reach the moss at the bottom. So you can see how it has to reach for the light, right? So that's not good. Yeah, it's still growing, fairly well, but it has to reach for the light. And because of that, because it has to elongate the part of the moss that is closer to the base or closer to the soil, it just dies down naturally. Yeah. So we're going to have to do something about that. And the other thing is that when we created this, we added too much of a drainage layer. Let me just focus here. Too much of a drainage layer, too much of clay. So what happens is that we don't have enough room to really appreciate the little plants, in this case, the moss. So yeah, we can see that it's almost completely full now. So we're going to do some maintenance to this, and we're not just going to throw away the moss. I am going to remove it, but I'm going to do the maintenance and then try to recreate it. And I'm also going to plant some more moss on this little container that I found the other day on the dollar store at Walmart. You can see that this is some sort of a makeup box or whatever. But this is acrylic. This is super clear, and like I said, this was $1. So really, really cool. I'm gonna, put clay-based soil here and add all of the moss cuttings that we get from this little guy. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the moss. I'm gonna place the camera down. Sorry, my hand is shaking. I'm gonna place the camera down and then we'll continue with this. Okay. So here we go. Okay, so here we are. What I am going to do is I'll try to see if I can pull out these little moss patches in one piece. If not, well, we're just going to have to remove piece by piece. Um, that's a bit challenging, but I think that's what we got to do. And like I was saying, I'm going to plant back most of it, but I am going to take some patches. Look, this is one piece. I'm going to take some patches, do a little bit of trimming, and then use it for my other little moss box. Sorry about the loud noises. So here we are. You can see that the moss is healthy, right? It's a little spindly. It's long, but it's alive, and that's like 80% of the fight. Yeah. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'm also going to remove the hardscape or the little stones that resemble ruins. And yep, let me just, there we go. Big patch there. We're going to continue removing this. Like so. So these little tongues that we have with an angle, these are for the aquascaping projects, but you can see just how useful they are for terrariums as well. So fish bowls and moss, right? Fish bowls and musgo. There we go. And we're pretty much done. Okay. So the next step would be to remove some some of the clay that we have here. That will be the next step. Okay. So I think I'm going to do that off camera, just so that we don't have a super long video, but you'll see how the ending of each step goes, right? So I'm going to pause the video down. Sorry, I'm going to pause the video, and then yeah, we'll continue on from the next step. Okay, so here I go. Okay, so here we are. I removed some of the soil, and with a little cotton ball, I cleaned the sides. You can see that over here, we got this green film that started to come out just because it was receiving the light, the light from the desktop lamp that was lighting this. And it's absolutely no problem, for me it's like whatever. But some people, what they do is that they cover the glass so that this just naturally dies. And now you can see that we got more space for the moss. What I'm going to do is, let's say I take this as an example. Yeah, see, there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some scissors, and I'm going to do this. And now we got a little patch. Sorry about the focus there. Now we got a little patch that we can put back in. Okay, so these little guys right here, these are sort of like cuttings, moss cuttings. This is terrible, by the way. It doesn't focus, but there we go. Let's see. Just because I think it's because I have so many things going on in the shot, but there it is. So there, anyway. So these are like moss cuttings. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cat scratching the chair. Oh, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna plant them in the other box that I just showed you before. Yeah. So I'm gonna do this with every little piece of moss that we got. And the last thing that we're gonna do is plant it again, and then plant the cuttings on the other little box. Okay. So here I go. I'm gonna pause the video again. So here we are. I pruned the spindly ones, and you can see that Kitty came by to supervise. And over here, we already placed the hardscape, right? The little rocks. So now what we do is we come in with the same little tongs, and we carefully place the moss inside, like so. Yeah. And we plant little by little. Let me just remove this little piece. And we plant again, right? So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to show you what that looks like when it's finished. So here we are now. You can see that it looks different, definitely, right? We got less moss, but in a couple of weeks, it will look just as good, if not better, because now we will have more room to enjoy the moss growth. So the last thing, I'm gonna water it a little bit, you know, and I gotta stress the little bit, because part of this little build, and really any terrarium, part of their success is that you don't overwater. You just leave it alone. This one, for example, like I said, it was just there. It was just surviving, and the moss grew great because of that, even if it had like problems with the light. So in the future, what's going to happen? It's going to grow again, right? The moss is going to grow. I'm going to prune again, and what I'm going to do with that extra moss is what I did here. So over here we have the cuttings that I planted, that moss that I pruned really. So you can see that you could say painted the walls with some clay, and yeah, I just stuck the little moss pieces with with the moss that I pruned from this little guy. Yeah. So again, in a couple of weeks, this is going to be huge. This is going to be burdened, and I'm going to continue pruning and pruning and pruning. That's how you get your moss, right? And well, personally, that's how I get my moss. So same thing. I'm going to water it a little bit. Certainly, it doesn't look the best at the moment because the walls are a bit dirty. It's a rather cumbersome process, especially if you're just doing this at the spur of a moment and you're not preparing. You don't have anything prepared. You're just winging it. But it's really simple. You just press it down, and in a couple of weeks you will have more moss. Yeah. So anyway, guys, cover it, right? The cover, it's really neat. So anyway, guys, I hope you really like this video. If you like it and you want to see more videos, updates, anything, comments, questions, drop them down below. Subscribe. Check out my other channels, Bonsai and Art channel. And yeah, as usual, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.